Grae, did you see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, like, I guess like a reboot, like another
Yeah.
reboot of it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest, I have little exposure to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I
Okay.
did see the old April versus this new one. So yeah.
Yeah. So
I've seen the
I
old one.
I grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I never like got the comics. Like I know the comics were actually like a lot darker, but like I started watching it in like the early 90s when they had the cartoons, and my dad would buy me like toys, and like I think I had like a toy or like a piggy bank of one of them, and it had like bed sheets. Like my dad knew that I really like turtles. And for me, I always found that like April O'Neil, okay, she wear a yellow jumpsuit kind of thing, and then like she was like a redhead, and like I just liked them. But like growing up, and then the live action movie came out, and then I liked the first two, right? The regular one, Secret of the Ooze. I think the one where they went back in time in Japan, sort of weird, and then they also made a TV show about it. So it was like pretty normalized to me, and then seeing them like, and then they made like a bunch of Nickelodeon shows and different movies here and there was pretty cool, right? But the thing is that with this, I guess Seth Rogen's like super pissed off now, is because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles producer Seth Rogen says that if the media critics knew how much negative criticisms the hurt how much negative criticisms hurt the people that made the things, they would second guess the way they write. So he basically says that do not criticize our show, do not
Uh-huh.
criticize what we make, because
Uh-huh.
people's feelings are hurt.
Yeah. And this is for you guys made a drastic change. Like you definitely should expect some backlash from that. Right? It's
Yeah.
like if you're gonna change something fundamentally, expect there are people who are not gonna like it. That's it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, in the opinion of the TMNT Turtles Mutant Mayhem producer Seth Rogen, critics could stand to be a little bit more kind when reviewing any given piece of entertainment. So here's the thing. As an artist, we were trained in college to learn how to take critiques, right? Is because majority of the time things are moving so fast, people don't have time for you to make shitty stuff. If you're gonna get critiqued, like hey, this doesn't look good. You need to change this. Hey, it would be better if this looked like this. Change this, and you should change that. And the thing is, like I'm not sure if he's considered himself a comedian, but he's considered a comedic actor. Maybe he hasn't gotten any critiques like this before, and this is the first time he's gotten like backlash. And like you're supposed to make things that are appealing towards people. And if you make a character that's fat, short, and ugly, no one's gonna like or buy that character's toy, right? And this is meant to sell toys, right? And no one's gonna buy April. People are gonna buy all the turtles. No one's gonna buy April. Man, let's see. The Canadian-born Hollywood star offered his thoughts on the current state of media reviews during a recent appearance in the 227th episode of the British entrepreneur Stephen Bartlett's interview-based podcast, The Diary of a CEO. Asked by the most recent investor to join the cast of the reality show Dragon's Den, the original UK version of the Americans known as Shark Tank, if he ever suffered a self-doubt regarding his work, Rogan asserted, in general, from my experience, I would say that applies to creative people's self-doubt. Right? Basically, that's how he sounds like. Whenever you
Yeah.
say do an impression of Joe Rogan, I mean not Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen, everyone's like, oh man. For me, it comes in waves. You make a thing everyone likes, it gets a little better. You make a thing that everyone hates, it gets a little worse. And that's a part of what doing what I do. The invincible voice actor continued. It's funny. I was saying to someone I work with the other day, I'm at the point in my career where not a lot of people who are in position to yell at me in my job, but the New York Times will publish an entire article saying I suck at my job. And so, like, that's like a trade off. I've worked my way up and not having to deal with much personal conflict, face to face conflict, but I will have a cultural institution tell me that I suck. And I will add self doubt, things like that. For me, it's something that's present, but I try not to let it stop me from doing the things I think that are interesting and the things that I would like enjoy watching. Pressed further by Bartlett as to whether or not such criticisms have ever hurt him specifically, the Rogan exclaimed, "Yeah, it hurts everyone." Yeah, the thing is that if you are so butthurt over critics giving you reviews. Yeah, you should get into a different line of job, dude. You're
Yeah,
working in a creative
exactly.
field, right? And
Exactly.
the thing is that everyone has art is subjective, right? I mean, you can like it or you hate it. It's a critique. But the thing is that if your thing is unanimously hated, then that means you're doing something wrong, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So if you go onto Rotten Tomatoes and you see like the critics is giving you 100% and then the audience is like 8%, you're like, oh, I don't care about the audience's score, right? But that means that you're not going to get your stuff. So you have to find a fine line between specific things that you want to push and specific things that you think that are good and you can get away, right? I know that in Hollywood, in order for you to even get nominated for an Oscar now or an award, you have to have 50% of your people who are working on a project needs to be a part of the LGBTQ and has to be a person of color. It's like you have to have a diverse cast now, right? So yeah, it's wild, man. Yes, he reiterated very much so. I think most critics, if most critics knew how much it hurt people that made the things that they are writing about, they could second guess the way that they are writing these things. So here's the thing. A lot of these people who are making these things are like pretty sure my age, millennial age, people in their mid 30s, maybe even earlier. A lot of them are the type of people who grew up getting participation trophies, right? You get a reward just because you participated, right? And I think that's what, like that's what a lot of these people who are in these position of power, they just like, okay, let's go ahead and not criticize or give constructive criticism to a specific art pieces because you might hurt their feelings. I remember in college, we brought in a guest speaker who was like a really, really good concept artist. And he was going around reviewing people's work. And then he stopped by this guy's desk and he started like, he basically outright said, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, I don't know what you're drawing. The thing is that I'm trying to see, like, if you're trying to make a snake, make a snake. If you're trying to do this, be deliberate about it. Like, because look, if I were you, I would have done this and this and this. But like what you did, like, I don't know what it is. You got to make sure if you're trying to do a design, the design sticks to landing and you're not sort of teetering between two different designs. You want to make sure that you are deliberate. And then after, like, he gave like a lot of people very harsh constructive criticism, but it's like much needed so they can become a better artist. When he left, people were like, that guy was mean. He made fun of my art. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, he was trying to help you. And that's basically what these people can't handle these critiques anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So
actually, in my opinion, I appreciate those kinds of things. Examples like if you're applying for a job, it's like if you're HR, you just tell them outright, okay, you're not qualified for the job, or if even better, you specify why if you have the time. It's like, because if you leave them hanging, it's like they'll never know what happened or they'll never be able to improve. So you should be grateful for those kind of feedbacks. Like, here's what you can improve on. Here's what I think you did wrong. It's like that's those are words of wisdom that you can make yourself better in the future.
Yeah. Like, imagine if like you're working on a job and then like you didn't get like that mom or that person who are like, oh, you make sure you need to go to these piano classes every single day. You have to go and you got to play and you got to make sure you're doing good. And the person that's like sort of like hounding you and like telling you keep doing it. And it might sound like, oh, you're doing this incorrectly. You're doing this incorrectly. And then you see, 20 years from now, like you're a professional pianist and you're playing at the, LA Philharmonic in front of thousands of people and you're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars because you're like the world famous pianist. You would go back and like, I really, really appreciate this person that gave me this critique, because if they didn't push me and if they didn't tell me what I was doing wrong, I wouldn't have got to where I am.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So like this goes for this goes for anything. Right. And it's critique over anything. And the thing is that they're not shitting on you. They're shitting on why it sucks. And if you were to actually read why it sucks, maybe when you're coming out with something different or something new, you read those like, oh yeah, I remember they didn't like this. So I'm going to make sure that I do this. And if you're going to continue putting out shit, you're going to get shit, so it's nutty. It's devastating, he added. I know people who never recover from it. Honestly, years, decades of being hurt. It's very personal. it's very devastating. And when you're being institutionally told that your personal expression was bad, that is like devastating and something that people carry with them literally their entire lives. And I get why it fucking sucks, right? Yeah, Green Hornet sucked. If you're talking about Green Hornet, the reboot, it sucked. No one
Yeah,
likes Jay Chow. He's terrible.
yeah, but I think he's, I don't know, I that's rubbing me the wrong way. It's like, yes, people were angry, people thought it sucks, but use it as a means to improve. Like I said earlier, it's
Mhm.
like this is a wake up call. This is what you can do better. Than when you release something that's better in the future, you could say that it's because people said this sucks. So I know
Mhm.
how to make better content now. That's how you should be taking it. So not carry it for the rest of your lives with regrets. Like I don't buy that.
Yeah,
I don't buy
and
that.
that's the reason why, like I, like I said, it's been used so much. But these people who are working in the industry right now, majority of them are snowflakes. It's like, oh no, like, oh, they said my stuff is bad. I can't work anymore. Like, I have trauma. I need to take like 30 days off because I need to heal from this trauma. It's like, dude, grow the fuck up. In light of their broaching the topic of bad reviews, Bartlett then turned to inquire with Rogan as to how he specifically dealt with the fallout when his projects flopped. To this end, he specifically asked the actors thoughts on regarding the reaction to 2011's widely panned Green Hornet film, which both starred and was written by Seth Rogen. In reviews that were coming out, it was pretty bad, and people just kind of like hated it. He recalled, yeah. The thing is that from what I can recall, Bruce Lee played the Asian part in the original one,
Okay.
right? So you already have Bruce Lee, and you're getting swapping that out for Jay Chow, right? In America, nobody really know who Jay Chow is, right? So I think people probably know him the most in when he did the live action adaptation of Initial D, which sucks. And the thing is that he's from China. So and then I remember watching this. I'm like, this is sort of stupid. Like I it's sort of dumb, and I didn't like it. And I watched this as like, how old was I? 2011. God, I was like what, 20, maybe like 20, like mid 20s then. Like I don't know. And the thing is that like not Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen is very good at his comedy stuff, right? It's sort of like I think This Is the End. I believe he was in Knocked Up, right? And he was in all these other stuff that was good. But the thing is that just because like he wrote and starred in it and probably directed it, and it's just like, oh man, then learn from it, right?
Yeah.
You got to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like a thing that people were just taking joy in the disliking a lot. You know what I mean? But it opened to like 35 million, which I think at the time was the biggest opening weekend that I've ever associated with in any capacity. So it did pretty well. And he then noted, that's uh that's what's nice sometimes. You can grasp for some sense of success at times. Honestly think that the interview were more painful as far as people are taking joy into talking shit about it, and they're really kind of questioning people's types who want to make a movie like that in general. The actor felt more personal. But here's the thing though, the interview was not really that great.
Yeah, it
Did you
was
watch
okay.
it?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay.
Like the only thing that I remember from the interview was they hate us because they anus. Right? That's the only thing
Yeah,
that I
and
remember.
yeah, the fat kid. They were trying to rig they were trying to make it, we're prosperous, so because we have a fat kid. Anyway, yeah. It was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. See, I think Green Hornet felt like I just fallen to victim, which is true, but a big fancy thing, like a superhero film. We were also ahead of the curve a little too much with some degree. We were early on that wave, so I think that is easier to deal with in a lot of ways because it was not so much of a creative failure in our parts, but more of a conceptual failure. However, rather than holding on to these criticisms and allowing them to mutate into grudges and outright anger, Rogan ultimately affirmed that his solution was dealing with negativity is just to keep on keeping on. I think the interview people more treated us like we had creatively failed, which sucked much worse. That's what happened at a few times. And again, I'm not going to act like it's that bad. On the grand scale of things in life, it's not that bad, right? And I've gotten much better at dealing with this as well. I think I was younger, and I really did not have much perspective as I do now, and do not carry it with me as much as I used to. Right. And then, of course, talking about this thing is coming out in August. But yeah, you're gonna get a lot of creative backlash over this. I think there are gonna be people who are gonna be like, oh, the reason why you don't like April O'Neil because she's she's black and you're racist. But I don't think that's the case. I think she's not attractive. Like, she's not, when I say attractive, I'm talking about like attractive to the eyes and not, pleasing to the eyes. Like, she sort of looks very stumpy character. Like, you can make a character look cute and cuddly or whatever, like you make, like, the turtles look pretty good. But if you change up her design, I think a lot of people would probably feel a lot better. I don't know, man. But TMNT is I'm not sure if you go back to watch like the old movies, it will be as good or it will hold up. Like, I'm not sure if you'll like it. Like, I'm not sure if it actually holds up anymore. Thanks for checking out this segment of the Project Eggroll podcast. If you like what we do here, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will know next time when we go live. We do go live every Saturday at 8 p.m. Once again, we are just getting started. Tons of more video to come. Thanks, and we'll see you guys next time.